What's up, people, and welcome back to Toe Shifters once again. It's been a really long time that I've been putting videos, and work has kept me busy. Today, it's a very special occasion for me, as this video, as you must have guessed with the title, is going to be on this beautiful beauty standing right here with us. I also have Vikram, who's going to help me with taking some shots for the car as well. So this is going to be an ownership review of my car, the Honda Civic, which is almost 15 years now, and it's been an absolute delight owning this car. So I thought, why not give some information to you guys and share my ownership review experience of how it's been and what the journey has been like with this particular car. So let's get started. The ownership review, I'm really not sure how to do it. This is the first time that I'm actually going to do it. I have to do ownership review of my KTM 390 that I've been using, but I've never got the time to do it. But I think it's going to start somewhere, right? So let's start with this. So as you can see behind me is a beautiful Honda Civic. This is actually a 2006 model, and we bought this in 2006 when I mean 2007, sorry, it's 2007, and I got my license back in 2006, and I was just a year old and was just getting used to driving and stuff, and that is when this beast arrived. So as you can see, she looks in a very immaculate condition. That is because we restored the car very recently, about 2.5-3 years ago, and that's how she stands as of today. So I'm going to break this video in probably 3 or 4 parts as I see it. So one is going to be my buying experience, so what all things I considered while buying this car, and second is the sales, and third is the service experience, and fourth is going to be the ownership experience. So I'm going to share my experiences with the car, my likes, dislikes, something that's the things were really good about this car and something which were not so good. So let's get started. So the buying experience of this car, it started off, there were not multiple choices that you had in this segment of cars back then in 2007. You had the Skoda Octavia, which probably was the newest arrival in the segment. You had the Optra, and they had recently launched the Optra Magnum, which was a diesel edition of the car back then, and then was this, the Honda Civic. So we didn't test drive the Octavia because my father was not really into Skodas. I really don't know why. One reason that I remember my dad telling me was the rear seat comfort. So I think probably, yeah, that was one of the major thing which he disliked the car for. And then we test drove the Optra Magnum diesel. I was really something like I wanted to own a diesel vehicle back then. So we test drove the car. It was a hoot to drive. The engine was really good. I think, I'm not sure on the capacity of the engine, but it was something about 120 bhp at that time for a diesel engine, and it was a hoot to drive. It was an amazing car to drive. And then this was the car that we test drove last. Honda back then had about 2 or 3 dealerships that I can recall of. I think there was Magnum Honda, there was Dakshin Honda, and there was Whitefield Honda. So we test drove this car in Dakshin Honda, and we were straight away impressed with 2 things. One is obviously the way she looked. I mean, isn't she absolutely beautiful? Look at those, the front. It's so minimalistic, yet it has all the things that you really need. The headlights, I mean, the dual barrel headlights were not so common back then. Then you had the nice and sleek bumper. And one more thing with this is actually the V model of the car. They also had S model back then, which was the starting of the range model S. So I wonder, I mean, Honda had the strategy of doing, whenever they launched cars, they used to be with S, they used to be basic models with just basic needs, and then they would again come up with the second model, which would be the top of the line model. So this was the V model. They also had a Honda Civic hybrid, and they had the Honda City automatic. The one that I own is the 5-speed manual version of the car. It had the same engine in all the cars. It was a 1.8 liter IV Tech, and it had about 132 bhp on tap. I'm not sure of the torque figures right now. Anyways, if I may just put it down below for your reference. So yeah, it was that which was really good. So difference between the S and the V model that I recall was, one was the turn indicators on the ORVMs. So these had the inbuilt indicators. I'll just switch on the hazards. So these are actually LEDs. I'm not sure if many cars actually had LEDs back then. So this was an LED indicator that was integrated in the ORVM. The regular S model used to get an indicator somewhere here. The second point was the fog lights. The S model never had fog lights. It was just an extension of this, so there was no fog lights here. Other things remained unchanged on the front and the exterior of the car. And the other thing was leather seats on the interiors. I'm not sure if there was any other change on the interiors, but this is one thing. I mean, these were the major three things that I recall. And there was one specific detail that was specific to the V model, was the paint job. So this car actually had a purplish color. I will just put a photo of you for your guys' reference. So that was an exclusive color that was for this V model. So that was the experience that I'm telling you about, why I bought this car, or why rather we decided to buy the Honda Civic. And the ownership experience, everything is going to go as we go on further in the video. I'm really not sure. I may be going back and forth, so please excuse me for that. So the sales experience was really good. We test drove the car at Dakshin Honda, and we picked up the car at Whitefield Honda, which was almost 15 kilometers away from my home. And we took the delivery of the car. The delivery process, I'm really not sure if I can brief much, because I was really not involved in that. But the process was pretty simple, and it was very nice. The staff were courteous, and it was just a regular delivery for us. And this being like the big car for us, it was very, it was a massive moment for us, in fact. So the car this replaced was Hyundai, what was it called? It was called the Hyundai Accent. Yeah, it was called the Hyundai Accent, the Tornado GTX 1.6, and it had the DOHC. So that car was nice, but I'm not sure. I mean, I didn't drive it as much, so I'm not sure if it was really a nice car to drive, or probably we got a lemon. But anyways, she replaced the Hyundai Accent, and this was a blissful change for all of us. So the details that I would really like to add on this car is this opposed wiper that it had. This was something really different. The wiper blades are so sturdy. Frameless wipers, I'm pretty sure none of the other cars that had. And this setup of the opposed wiper, it covers about 85% of the entire glass area. So this was something really unique to this car, and I absolutely love it the way these perform. And apart from that, the exterior were pretty much lined up with everything else. The cohesive design that just flowed, the roof line, everything. I mean, the large windshield, the quarter glasses, it all looked just absolutely fantastic. And one thing, detail that was really nice, was these wheels. So these chrome wheels with the white color, it looks absolutely great. I mean, I really can't explain how they look. Yes, they have taken some amount of bashing right now, and probably some restoration would help to get the glory back. But I think the paint job that was done from Magnum Honda 3 years ago has actually made it way better. And this car actually had 4 disc brakes, so it had disc brakes on all the 4 wheels. And one more thing that this car had was EBD. So it's called electronic brake force distribution. I'm not sure if many cars had it back then, but this car had it. It had ABS, and it had all 4 disc brakes. So this was one of the factors that we were so sure of on buying this car. And when we go at the back, the feature that I really love the most about this car was this. So the lights on this car actually look like the afterburner of a jet fighter. and these were really beautiful. I mean, probably we'll try to take some more shots once the light goes down, and you would be able to appreciate the detail on these lights as well. The similar detailing of lights went on to the Brio as well, and those look absolutely great. So this is the overall view of the car, and one thing that I liked was this, the dual tailpipes. So these were specific to the Civic, and I remember people back in the day used to get these tail mounts just for fun, to make the exhaust look more better. So this was basically my buying experience of the car and the things that actually lured me into buying this car. So the next thing that we get on to is the service side of the car. Yeah, so coming to the second part of the video, that is the sales side of the car, I mean the service side of the car. So obviously, I mean, this car has always been serviced at the Honda Authorized Service Center for all of its life. Earlier we used to give it at Whitefield Honda, which I said was the place that we took the delivery of the car, and I used to go about 15 kilometers just to get my car serviced from there. The experience was good for most part, but I'm not sure there is somewhere, because when you're too attached or when you know a lot of things, that become a problem. So somewhere some things were really not matching with what I wanted, and it was quite far for me as well. But all in all, I think it was a smooth sail for me, and touch wood, this car has never broken down a single day. It has never given me something that I would want to exaggerate in terms of problems, be it in terms of service or be it in terms of the way the vehicle has been all of its life. So there has been no issues as such that I've come across that I feel I would like to highlight. The engine performance has been absolutely great. Yes, over the years the engine has slightly toned down in terms of the power delivery, and I feel maybe the IVTech system has some issue or something, I'm not sure, but yeah, it is not as powerful as she used to drive, and I'm not able to identify what the issue could be. And the brakes have been great for most part. Even when you're doing speeds of about 120, 130, there hasn't been any issues. There was one problem which I specifically faced, that was with respect to the brakes. So over time your brakes tend to wear, and sometimes when there is uneven wear, as soon as you press the brake pedal you start getting some judder, and this was resolved with respect to a process that is called as brake skimming. I'm not sure if it's the right word that is in the technical terms, but that's what they do. So what they do is they just shave off a layer of the disc brake, probably about 1 mm or 2 mm of the disc brakes, when your disc brakes still have that much space, so that with that the wear becomes regular, and after a while of usage your brakes start getting better. So that was one of the reasons that was done at Magnum Honda, and apart from that it's just been like regular service, like your oil change, your oil filter change, your dust filter, this, that, etc. So all of those things have been just the regular service. There hasn't been anything else that has been done to the car, and she is absolutely stock as of today. Alright, so now coming to the third part of the video, that is ownership experience. This car, I used to have an Icon back then when we bought this car, when it replaced the Accent. So the Icon was absolutely like the benchmark of driving pleasure for me, and I never actually liked this car until I had the Icon with me. That was a beautiful car to drive. So I never really actually drove this car as much, and I couldn't actually appreciate what it is like to drive a car like this. And slowly after the Icon went away, I started driving this car a lot more, and I started to realize what it holds in for me. So all in all, as I said, ownership experience has been like a really smooth sail for me. There hasn't been any issues with the car that I would really like to complain about, except the ground clearance. So this is about 6 inches as of now, so probably about 150, 160 mm that she has right now, and that is mainly down to the wheels that I changed. So that was one thing that I really changed my perspective about the car after changing the wheels. She came with Goodyear NCT5s, which were 195/60 profile tires, and probably the ground clearance was probably at least an inch lower than what it is right now. And then I changed over to Yokohama S drives, which were not really that great, and which dropped the ride height even more, and we barely used to use the car. And then I got these tires, which are the same spec as they are on the Innova, the old model Innovas. I'm not sure, probably even the newer Innovas use the same tires. So these are the Bridgestone B390. These are 205/60 profile tires, 15 inches. So it's really good. I mean, after that it's been really great. So that's been the ownership experience, and some things that I really love about this car is the steering wheel. So if you could just see, I mean, the steering wheel was like an absolute delight to hold. It had these nice indents here, though these pockets that were filled later in the city were great. And these, the horn pair, everything was great. These switches, even today after 15 years, they have the same feel. The knobs, the control knobs, as you can see, still so precise. I mean, the way they work is absolutely as they were intended to. And this is an accessory, the silver accent that you see all around the dash. This was an accessory that we put back in the day, so again on the grills. Otherwise, it was nice soft touch materials all around. The door padding, this again got done with the upholstery that we did. Nice storage spaces. The audio system, in fact, was really good. That was one point, talking point. So this has a 6 CD changer. You can actually load in 6 CDs right into this, which I would not recommend probably because it doesn't actually work. This was an Alpine stereo that I recall. The lights were great. It had mirrors for both, vanity mirrors on both. It had handles on the driver's side as well, which not many cars do, and soft closing handles. So all in all, the material selection, everything was absolutely great. The gear knob, the charging point, it had an aux port, so you could usually listen to music and anything that you wanted to. The seats are absolutely comfortable, really huge seats with nice side bolstering, wide enough seats, nice leg room, a nice glove box, and everything feels so well damped and so well put together for this car of the time. I don't know, I mean, there were not many cars probably back then which you would appreciate the quality for. Let's hop into the rear seat of the car. So this was the kind of space. The front seat is set to my driving position, and you still have ample amount of leg room. You have decent amount of leg room. Under thigh support is kind of okay, not great, but still very good. Headroom is absolutely splendid. And even at the rear, there was one thing which I really loved about this car, which I'm not sure why manufacturers don't do it now. So when you open this, there seems to be some cram here. Anyways, so yeah, this is, they had the volume control and the channel change and the mode change here, so you could actually control the stereo when it is switched on. You can't switch on the stereo from here, so you would want anyone to switch on the stereo from there, and once you switch on, you can control the volume, track, and change the channels from there. And they had nice lighting systems. I really love the way these worked. Single touch on and off, so you had one light here, you had the main light here. I think this is blown. No, okay, yeah, this is working. So there was one light here, two lights there, so this cabin used to be really lit. The sound system on this car was really good. You only had about 6 speakers, so 4 speakers and 2 tweeters. The tweeters were mounted far off on the dashboard, but still it gave a really nice immersive sound. In terms of storage space, you had nice storage space here. You could easily put in 1 liter water bottles here, which were kind of rare back in the day. And you had storage spaces almost everywhere. The one in particular that I like in front here is this. Look at this. You could actually pop open the cup holders, so when you don't need it, you can just close them and use the space. And there was this space here for putting your phones or whatever. You had this nice cubby hole in the center armrest. The armrest, you could slide it front or back, so it was really nice experience all in all. I mean, sitting in the car would really give you that feel of sitting in a nice luxury car. And one thing that in particular that I liked was this. You see this? This is actually a boot release, and this is also a fuel cap release. So there used to be two things which you used to pull, but they have integrated in one with push and a pull. How great is that? Let's look at the boot space now. So this is the boot. It isn't actually as good when compared to the Honda City. This actually had lesser space. I'm not sure on the volume that it had, but it's quite less. I mean, the loading lip is nice, but it's still quite small, I would say, for this kind of a car. And everything was felt lined very well. You can barely see anything except for this part. And even these the ones that hold the trunk, they've nicely cladded it with plastic. They've nicely closed this off so that you don't see much of it. And this was the fuel filler cap. They had this one which is broken, but all in all, it was a wonderful car. And in my experience, I think it's been just absolutely great. What are the problems, if you would ask me? uh, the problems that I faced with the car was mainly because of its ground clearance. The ground clearance was a very big issue. If you could see here, there is a tow hook that has been provided here, and this used to actually hit quite a lot of times on bad roads when the car is fully loaded. So that was one thing which would actually stop us from using this car a lot. But apart from that, I think the car was absolutely great. The engine is good. It actually requires not much effort in terms of maintaining the car. So hats off to Honda. I mean, I really have to respect what product they have made. And one more thing, that as we are on the boot, let us just have a look here, the way that's been detailed out. Just clear the stuff here. So you can see this nicely done. So you can actually open up things like this. So they have actually provided space right here for you to keep some smaller things and knickknacks. They have nicely carved out space on both sides. I really wish they would have given some hooks here which would have made it more usable to put your bags. And it's so nicely done. I mean, everything is well thought of. There's nice space around here which you can keep some things, a nice board that is properly lined and felt. So things like these, I'm not sure if manufacturers actually do these kinds of details anymore, and that is one thing which really amazes me about this car. So that's about the ownership experience that I wanted to highlight to you guys. Let's get into the last part of the video, that is the driving experience. And driving this car has been an absolute delight for most of the part. The gear shifts are so precise, as we are going to demonstrate to you right now. After this video, I'm going to take a short video on this trail of road and show you how precisely the gears slot in, and the way the car used to drive in general, the way she used to behave. And one thing which I just forgot to mention was about the suspension. The rear suspensions on this car are individual suspension on the rear, so it's not a twist beam that you get on cars right now. It used to have an individual suspension, so the suspension of this car had really nice, though it was slightly on the firm side for a Japanese car, I would say, but still, I mean, that was a good compromise, and it used to be absolute delight to drive. You can easily carve corners on this car. The steering was so responsive. You can always know what the wheels are doing with the steering wheel. Sometimes when I used to watch these videos of reviewers telling how precise the steering is, they tell you what the car is doing and all that. This car actually makes you feel that. Let's just go under the hood and let's check out the engine bay as well. This particular engine is a gem of an engine. It's a 1.8 liter iVTEC, the famous Honda technology of VTEC, which was being given to our Indian customers, and it looks so clean. The engine actually looks so compact for a 1.8 liter engine. There's still so much of space that you can see. I'm really not sure why the dashboard on this car was so large, which actually made it difficult, but once you get used to driving this car, it was an absolute fun to drive car. So it was really good. You had nice hood insulation. The overall engine bay looked really clean. And the one thing that I changed on this car was the air filter. So I just went with a stock replacement of the air filter. The air filter is right here. So I changed the air filter to a stock replacement. I just changed the paper element filter to K&N. That did make slight difference in terms of the way it behaved, especially the low end grunt of the car improved, and the mileage was actually a lot more better. And now that we're on the topic of mileage, let me just tell you what this car offers. So when driving in city, being a manual, she actually used to offer about 8 or 9 kilometers back in the day when the traffic in Bangalore used to be actually less. And now with the traffic bar getting higher and higher, the mileage figures is probably somewhere around 8 or 9 kilometers to the liter. But one place where it really aces is on the highway drives. Even today, on a highway drive, she is able to give me a mileage of about 14 to 15 kilometers to a liter, which is absolutely stunning. There have been a lot of mosquitoes here. So that's about it. I think let me just show you a few details that I have done to the car, or a few things that I've changed with time. So one is obviously these LED lights. Let me just switch on the lights for you guys. So these are the LED bulbs that I put in for my parking lights, and I've also changed the lights, the bulbs for low beam and high beam to Osram night breaker ones. And these are some cheap alternatives that I bought, because the fog lamps on this are absolutely useless. They don't work. And I've got these extra LED lights here, which I wanted them to be working as a daytime running lights, but I couldn't wire them as required. So this was what was done on the front. The rear, the side is absolutely stock. There is no change. And the interiors of the car, which I changed to leather upholstery. So all of this is leather. With the stock car, well, you used to get leather patches on these parts, and the rest of it, like on the sides, on the back, the headrest, everything used to be leatherite, art leather as they call it. But this was done from Marvin, and this leather is absolutely plush. They also put a nice foam after that, so it's actually nice and plush. The seats are really comfy, as I said earlier. And one thing which I really don't like on this car was uh, the accelerator pedal. As you can see, it's hinged on the bottom here, and this is how it operates. And on long drives, it's actually quite a pain. I don't know why, but it's actually not so comfortable than your conventional accelerator that hangs from the top, and you have that lever which you would be pressing. So this, you will have to put your foot planted, and then you would have to move it, and that actually causes slight bit of a problem for long journeys, not for short ones. And apart from that, the window controls were here. It had auto folding mirrors, auto adjustment mirrors, you had locking, window locking. It had auto up and down only for the driver's side, and others were just regular. It only had light on this. I'll just put the key. So this, I'm not sure if the camera is going to be capturing, but these were actually the lit parts on this car. So the last and final thing that I would like to show it to you guys on this car is this beautiful dash. So the steering, it had tilt and telescopic. I'm just going to go it as low as possible. Yeah. So it had two displays, one on the top which showed the coolant and engine temperature, the speed, and this one. So you barely had to take off your eyes to see what speeds you were doing. And then you had your major telltale lights, your nice RPM tachometer, which would actually rev to 6,500 RPM on this until the red line. Beautiful. You had two trip meters, and outside temperature that would show here. You had all the telltale lights right here. The ambient on this car during the night drive was absolutely great. One thing that actually made it really good was this. As soon as you switch off the light, you can actually dim these lights. So you could go just all the way. So now you can see it's like almost switched off. So when it's night time, you can barely see anything. It's so nice, and it's not just this part. It actually dims lights here as well. You have cars with ambient lighting and all that right now, but 15 years ago, these things were actually something that made a difference. It also had an auto climate control, and everything in this car was just so nice, premium, well thought of. Everything was well put together, and it's just astonishing, I mean, that I have this car with me right now, and it's an absolute delight. And let's just talk to Vikram. He drove this car very recently. We've been friends for almost 8 years now.
Yes,
8 years now, and we always thought that we'll be going for a drive on the Civic, but we never actually happened to do a drive. And recently we just happened to go on a drive, and he happened to drive this car. So what was your experience, Vikram?
So Honda Civic was always my dream car that I could actually own.
Wow.
But I've never had the pleasure of driving or owning one. So this was the first Honda Civic, or I mean probably even the last one.
Probably.
Probably that I could never drive, and it was an absolute pleasure to drive it.
Yeah.
especially in the highways.
Yeah, I mean,
The steering is so precise. The
exactly.
handling is absolutely
That is
wonderful.
something that I mean you would experience only if you drive it, and this was something that I never actually loved it, or I never realized the potential until I had the icon. It's been very recently that I've started discovering these things about the car, and it's been an absolute delight to hold.
True, true, true. Even for a 15-year-old car, the
Yeah.
engine is absolutely butter smooth.
Seriously, that is one thing that
Yeah.
Honda has done really great. I mean,
True, true, true. I mean, Honda always says it's petrol engines.
Yeah.
No doubt. But this is a gem of an engine, for sure.
It's really good. So I think that's it about the video. I would like to wind up the video. Just try to take some shots of the car and probably put it so that I have some good memories with the car. And that's about it. If there is something that you guys feel is missed or is wrong, please let me know in the comments below, and I would be more than happy to answer and talk to you guys about it. And yeah, everything has been so great with this car. There's nothing much that I can really flaw with the car, that is something that I'm really not sure of. If you guys have had this cars in the past or know people who have owned this car in the past and they've had issues, please do comment down below so I can know if this car was actually problematic or it was actually one of the car that was the most trouble-free car to own, and most importantly an amazing one to drive, right? So apart from the ground clearance, I don't see much that actually was hampering for this car. Even the comfort, the driving factor, the engine, everything was so good. So I think I'm going to end the video right now, right here, and I hope to see you guys on a ride somewhere very soon. What do you say, Vikram?
Yes.
It's been
We will
really
take
long that
soon.
we've ride, and we can see the sunset right there. It's somewhere there. Yes, I don't know if the camera is able to capture it, but the sun is setting and we guys are done with our short ownership review video of the car. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and if you haven't subscribed already, please do subscribe. If you like this video, please put a thumbs up. And I know this video has been just a very raw video of my ownership experience with the car, so I hope you guys have liked it. If you did, don't forget to give this video a like, to hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends. Until then, ride safe, ride hard, always wear your safety gear, and never ever forget wearing your helmet. And by the way, a video is never over without the startup of the car and listening to that amazing exhaust note that this car makes. Just have a listen.